Okay, we'll call the Newport City Council meeting to order for Monday, August 6, 2018, 6:35 p.m. All members of the council are present. Others include James Johnson, our clerk treasurer, and Laura Dogan, our city manager. There are a couple changes to the agenda. The first would be number 11, the executive session. It really needed to be worded in executive session discussing pending the civil litigation. That's what should have been there, instead of just plain executive session. So it's for pending civil litigation. And then item number 8, the electronic marquee policy. We received word that Mr. Bissett passed away this weekend. He was the donor, and I thought out of respect for the family and things like that, I would remove that from the agenda till the next meeting. Which, you know, it is my prerogative if I can do that. I just thought it would be out of respect for Mr. Bissett.
Has the family expressed a position on what they would like to sign this for?
No, not that I've seen.
I actually have correspondence from them. I've been working with the family since September of 2017. And at this point, I have something like 200 emails back and forth. This sign was presented and approved that would be for municipal messages. So this is something new. We haven't had a discussion with them in a week, given Mr. Bissett's condition. It's not something I want to present to them at this particular point. It's a change in what the donors had anticipated. So, I'd like to let it lie and get through their work.
So that will be removed from the agenda for this week.
It's difficult for all of us to hear.
He passed away over the weekend.
Anybody gonna, as the lady mentioned, anybody gonna speak up. If all my records gonna pick up the hum from that area.
Right.
Make sure you
And we
speak
can't hear it.
loud. Thanks for mentioning that.
And with that, I would entertain a motion to accept the amended agenda.
Can I interrupt you? I'm sorry. I think there is an additional executive session.
There was 2 executive sessions.
Right.
The first one is the civil, which
Yep.
was dealing
But we
with,
have 2 separate ones.
that can be under one, because it's all the same topic.
Okay. Just one.
Yeah, no, that's under the same discussion. Okay. So I would need a motion to accept the amended agenda. A motion's been made, is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded, any discussion on that? And hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Moving on, the next item is to approve the minutes of July 16th, 2018. I would entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, down in the new business, the second item, where it says that Mr. Charbonneau moved to approve a line of credit for the city, it doesn't show that we voted on that. It doesn't show any motion made to approve.
Oh, we put it on the agenda. Write it down next line. Get carried.
The motion carried, but we don't know who made it. You're going to amend this, right?
I'll check.
I have some notes if that's helpful. Kevin moves, Dan seconded, and the vote was unanimous.
Thank you, Rob.
Seconded by Dan. Okay, so the minutes in that one will read, Mr. Charbonneau moved to approve a line of credit for the city in the amount of $1 million at 1.69% interest. Motion seconded by Dan Ross, motion carried. That would be the amended minutes. So then I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes as amended.
I will make that motion, Mr. Mayor.
Motion been made, is there a second?
I'll second.
Made and seconded, discussion on the minutes. Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Next item is comments by members of the public. Looks like we have one person who signed up, is Michelle Rossi.
And I apologize for not making enough copies for everyone here. Most of you know me. My name is Michelle Rossi. I wear many hats in this community, but I am here with other concerned members of my community. My landlord, some of my neighbors from my neighborhood, and other concerned members as well. We're all aware that the opioid crisis has swept through our community like wildfire and has left quite the mess and continues to destroy families along the way. While we are all affected in some way, shape, or form by this crisis, I am here, as are others, representing the 3rd Street part of our community. Police presence has been in our neighborhood on a daily basis, sometimes many more times in a day, depending on what day of the week it is. But the drug traffic on our street has made an even bigger presence. On the street alone, there are 8 houses, and of those 8 houses, 3 of them are known drug houses. And of those 3 houses, one of those houses is manufacturing. And in that house, there are 2 children, both under the age of 5, that are exposed to this. In a span of about 4 months' time, 11 children have been displaced into DCF custody due to the activity on our street. And in the last month, the mother of 5 of those children has died due to a drug overdose. There are children and families who are afraid to be outside alone or allow their children to play outside because of the activity on the street. Our children, who should not know what is happening, do know what is happening and can tell you already at the age of 9 what a drug deal looks like. They know which cars do not belong on the street and the people who don't live there and which ones they need to avoid because they are unsafe. It is incredibly sad and disheartening that our children have to constantly look over their shoulders because any one of these people could be carrying a weapon. A gun could fire accidentally, or deliberately for that matter. Cars speed up and down and in and out of the driveways or through the intersection without stopping to go to these houses. Children should not have to feel unsafe in a neighborhood that is supposed to be decent. We wish to emphasize that this is in no way an attack on the local police department because we all understand that they have a job to do, and it takes time and patience on our part to let them do so. We would also like to emphasize how much we appreciate the work that the police department has done in the past and is currently doing to help keep our community safe. We have provided for you a petition that was developed in the last 48 hours and is now full of more than 100 signatures of concerned community members about this neighborhood. Other information that could be vital to the police department investigations has been included as well, which Chief DeSanto has. We are not asking more out of the current officers' duties, but what we would like to see are more officers that are able to provide foot patrol or bike patrol to be less obvious and more able to observe the things that are happening and to help further develop any open investigations. 3rd Street is just a small portion of this entire community that is affected by this, and we are aware that this is not the only problem in our community and the police department faces. We certainly don't want to disregard any of the other challenges either, but 2/3 of our street, 3 houses out of 8 are drug houses. We are a neighborhood at its wit's end. What can we do as a neighborhood that would be more beneficial to the police department? Is there a way that we can work together to develop some type of neighborhood watch? How can we help? We all want the same thing for our children, whether they live on 3rd Street or across town, and that is a safe place for our kids to be kids. In a perfect world, this wouldn't be a crisis, and we wouldn't be standing here in front of you as concerned citizens worried about the things that are happening around us. But they are happening, so here we are as concerned citizens. We appreciate the opportunity to discuss these recent events with you and to explore how we can, as residents, the police department and elected city officials can work together to address this crisis facing our community. The names on this petition, signed by more than 100 residents, are requesting an increase in community policing in our neighborhood. And what can we do and how can we help to accomplish this?
We have this as an agenda item at our next meeting. Looking to the city manager and the police chief to have this.
I can comment now, or if you could use some meeting, whatever you like.
Okay, if you want to comment now, because normally this is just to receive, but receive information for a council meeting, but I will let you comment.
Sure. So, first of all, thank you very much for coming in here. I guess if we're going to engage in some type of dialogue, I guess the first question I would have is, what is it that you'd like to see from the police department that you're not seeing currently? I mean, you talk about additional foot patrols and things of that nature, so I can tell the council that to date, as of today, we've done 109 foot patrols since January 1st of this year. Some of those in your area, some not. In addition to that, what else is it that you'd like to see? You mentioned bike patrols. I love the idea of bike patrols. I think that's a very underutilized resource at our department. I will candidly tell the city council that once I put an officer on the bicycle, they can't back up another officer. So that means overtime or increasing the staff levels. I personally love the idea. I think it's a great idea. I think it's a huge community policing asset that's worked at other departments nationwide with great success. I'd love to have multiple bike patrol officers. It does require some training and a certification by the state, hurdles that we can overcome. And I'd certainly be willing to send interested officers to that training. But I currently only have one, and I only have one bicycle. So they are limited, for sure. But in addition to that, you talked about other things that you'd like to see. I'm all ears as to what it is that you have proposed.
In all honesty, I'm just baffled, and I try to fathom the things that I'm seeing on my street, and I have to exercise patience in my own brain, knowing that you guys have a process that you have to go through before you can come through and pick somebody up. And I think that having people on foot patrol, at least recently in what we've seen, when the cops roll up and your lights are flashing and you've got flashlights going and everything on faces, you got plenty of time for people to run and beat feet, and then you can't catch them. If you've got an officer on a bike or on foot that can observe what's going on, that officer should be able to call for backup. And once you've already perhaps confronted someone or apprehended somebody and needed assistance, then you will have already gotten that person or those people that you need to pick up. I don't know. I just...
Less than now, so
Listen.
you don't catch it.
Yeah, listen, I totally understand the frustration behind all of it. If you think you guys are frustrated, if you live in that community.
I know.
I live
I know.
right above it.
Yeah, so we express the same frustration without trying to offload the responsibility of the police department. I guess I'm just engaging in a dialogue, okay? We did the largest drug bust in Northeast Kingdom history less than a year ago. 96% of the defendants that were arrested in that case have been released by the court and are back on the street.
And some of those people are currently involved in this
Ironic, isn't it?
particular thing that I just discussed. Yep.
So while I sympathize with your situation, I guess the dialogue that I would have openly with you as a member of the public is, what do you want me to do, arrest them a second time? Absolutely, that's what our job is, right? So now we go arrest them a second time, and then the court system does what with them?
I know, and you said repeatedly that we can't arrest our way out of this, and I completely understand that. So how can we?
And please don't misunderstand that statement.
No, I know.
We can't arrest our
No,
way out of
I
it,
know.
but that's our responsibility.
Right.
That's what we do.
So then how can we, as the people that live on that street or the general public, what can we do to help you guys in assisting with building cases or whatever it is that
Right.
you need from us?
Right.
What can we do?
So the number one thing, just from a very brief glance at what I saw in that piece of paper, that's excellent information for me to have. Some of it I may already have, some of it I wouldn't comment on if I did or didn't, but it will be helpful information in the future.
Right.
I can tell you this, and I'm going to ask the members of the press this favor of mine. And I'm going to ask the same thing of the young lady that's recording. If you wouldn't mind shutting that off for just a minute. Members of the press,
I can't do it, it's a public meeting in front of public.
10-4.
I'm
I'll
sorry,
scratch that
but-
comment, and I'll speak with you privately
Yeah.
after the fact, and you'll have to relay it to your neighbors. But I would say that we're open to more ideas. Do I know that there are a certain number of drug houses on 3rd Street currently operating? Yes, I do. Am I aware of other ones in the community? Absolutely. I could literally rattle off 25 names of drug dealers right now that I know are dealing drugs. But without building that probable cause portion, I don't have a case to send to the state's attorney's office, and then we wind up right back where we are kind of again. So without divulging too much information in front of the press that I don't know where that information is going to go, I'd be more than willing to speak with you privately about it. As to some of the other efforts that we have ongoing. But I don't necessarily know is even knowing those efforts, if that's going to put your mind at ease, because it's not going to change overnight. Increased police presence, that is a possibility, but keeping in mind that we have the 5 square miles and 3,000 calls a year service and so on and so forth, the night shift has yet to do anything but answer call since 5 o'clock. So I'm not really sure where to go in terms of can I give you an immediate response tomorrow that, okay, from these hours to these hours, I'll have an extra patrol on your street? I can't do that.
No, I understand.
So I don't know if that answers some of the council's questions or concerns. I certainly would like an opportunity to speak with you in private, but I don't know if there's anything else that you're looking for, Mr. Mayor. If you still want it as an agenda item, I'm fine with that. I won't brief the public on investigative.
No, I agree with you. I think, before we even have it on the agenda, I think your idea of meeting with Ms. Rossi is a good idea.
Yeah, and if you'd like to, I'm sorry.
Maybe you might, I think meeting with her, I'm going to squelch my thought.
Perhaps we can arrange some type of community meeting with a bunch of your neighbors and stuff. Speak privately.
He can't talk freely. I'm just saying, he cannot talk freely about investigations. So that's why I killed my thought.
And I was going to finish the thought, maybe we could have a community forum. And that way all folks in the neighborhood would have a chance to express their concerns.
They could, but then if they
Well,
ask
yeah,
specific
I would-
questions, it's
Yeah, I may not-
that's why I didn't finish my thought. I was afraid of, but a community forum is a good idea. But I was afraid there might be questions asked to the chief that he can't divulge, because it's ongoing investigations. Because, well, I just wanted to be, we're going to be very careful, because I know he has a lot of investigations, and if you don't do it correctly, it could jeopardize those investigations.
So the community forum meeting might be the thing to talk about that offline, so not take up too much time. Is there any other questions you have immediately?
No.
You're welcome.
Well, no, just gotta be careful not to divulge investigative stuff.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on. The next item. Water sewer allocation vote. And I have it in here. This here. Okay. The property is located at 23 Orchard Street, parcel ID 134154. It's a residence, garage with apartments. It's a new connection. One garage structure, one apartment. The request is for 210 gallons per day for the water, and then also sewer, and the money, and the fee has been paid.
Mr. Mayor, I didn't want to get a copy of the water allocation. Do you have that there?
Oh, this is wastewater. Did I
think that's, all that was included was the wastewater, because the water.
read it wrong, it's wastewater.
Right.
So they're paying $85.20, and I'm just wondering, how do they come to the $85.20? Because if it's wastewater, it's the 30 plus their final allocation.
town has some sort of formula that's through.
There's an extra $30 on that that I'm not seeing.
Just a second, I'm gonna do some math here.
Maybe because it's a residence with a garage, residence.
Five-
garage.
8520. Okay, hold on, I'm doing some math here. I'm only right on that one, I'll be right on this one. 30, that makes that 8040. And then that didn't come out right. We took the reserve cap capacity times, I took 210 times the final allocation fee of 24 cents plus the 50, plus the 30, I come out with 8040 total, not 85, not the 85.
Maybe Laura's correct, maybe they're charging for the house and residence $100
Yeah,
for two. We should make that 60 and then that would make that.
the correct one. That's probably what they're doing. So the check is right. That's the case, okay. And we have the allocation in the wastewater plan for this. So with that, we would need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the wastewater allocation application.
A motion has been made, is there a second? Made, seconded, discussion? Hearing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it, motion carries. Give that to Laura, please. Oh, give that to her. Okay, the next item is event request. Jess?
I'm not going to come up and sit in front of you guys, there's just quite a few folks here that are going to speak on behalf of their events, so just as the same kind of trend, this is now the third round of large events that we've gone through, so I'm happy to kind of introduce these guys and answer any questions you have, and I'm going to leave the deliberation and all that stuff to you guys. So on your memo, you can see that we have 4 event requests today for the month of September, so that's one every weekend throughout the month. The first one is the Out of Darkness Walk, and the last one is the Newport Fall Festival. These are 2 that qualify under the large or special event qualification, which means they're expecting 100 people or more, so they're actually asking permission to host their events. The other 2 are smaller events, but they're requesting waived fees, so that comes through you guys as well. So the first one, Amanda Shapa was hoping to be here, but she ended up having to work, so she is not here, but she did submit a letter to you guys, so you should have a good overview of her event. You can also see her application there, and this is again one of the large events, so she's asking permission to host it, and also looking for a request of waived fees in the amount of $191. She did pay that $25 deposit and contribution for her event, so. The total fee was $216 for that rental. She paid $25 and is requesting $191.
Jess, on the first page of the application, I'm assuming that's a typo where it says 1 a.m., should be 1 p.m.
On their handwritten application,
Yes, right here, on the record, right here.
breakdown until 1 a.m.
Right.
I would think that is, yes, a typo. It looks like their event is going to be at 10 o'clock. I would assume
Right.
it's a typo.
Okay. And
This is the Out of Darkness event. It's a suicide awareness walk that leads from the farmers market area there in Gardner Park. This is kind of their rally point, their starting point. They have a DJ and some other until 1 AM or sign up at 5 AM. So that would be my best educated guess.
And with that being the case,
Yeah.
obviously they would be parking their volunteer vehicles. That was going to be early in the morning, 6 AM, which would be before the farmer's market opens, but they would be leaving during the farmer's market. How are they going to get out?
So we'll coordinate with Judy. This is the second year that they posted that event at the same time as the farmer's market, and we just kind of get everyone on the same page and make sure that there's kind of an opening around the backside. So they're very careful and cautious when they come through there. But yeah, they do indeed have to cohabitate with the farmer's market. So it's not ideal, but it's okay. It works.
And do you know what advertising they're going to have?
They did have a poster that they attached. It didn't include everything in their application, your packet, but this is an example of the poster that they gave me. This may have been last year's, September 8th. I'm not sure what additional, this is actually this year's, I'm not sure what additional stuff, but it's an example of something that they submitted with their application.
Do you know if they advertise on the radio and in the newspaper or anything like that?
I don't know.
I think in the free community events is where they do it. I'm
Thank
not
you.
sure if they have paid advertising.
Do they use, it's not on the application, when they all leave and cross the causeway, do they use our police to cross, or they just use the light as it changes?
So you can just use the button there.
The button and the light as changes?
There's no staff member, no city staff member there anyway.
Oh, okay, I was just curious, I didn't see it on here.
It says, although if you look under security plan, it says part of the old CERT team have volunteered to help along with our staff, so maybe that's where they're positioning that person.
Yeah.
To be an experienced slider.
Does the council have any questions on that one? Do you want to cover them all, or do you want to vote on each individual one? Probably should have a vote on each individual. Okay. This is in the new fiscal year.
Yes, you can see on my cover page, the fiscal year, it's a little funky, it falls right in the middle of the season, you know, that we have these large events. So you can see, since we put this policy in place in April, there's a total there, but obviously that's not just for July 1. So it's kind of would be the way you have to think about it, because the fiscal year cuts it right down the middle. But I think it gives you a better capture of how much you're spending annually if you look at it not according to the fiscal year.
All right, what is the council, do they wish to waive these fees?
I'll make a motion to waive the $191 fee for the Out of the Darkness Walk.
So a motion's been made, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Made and seconded. Discussion? The only discussion is make sure we track it in the line item that we have in the budget. Council special projects, which we know is already overspent, but it needs to be tracked.
Yeah, we're kind of coming in the home stretch here, so we'll be able to have a good capture of what 1 year kind of looks like with our existing events and enforcement of the ones that there will always be.
And all the money that they raise for this event goes right into,
Looks like about, in their cover letter, they said the foundation keeps 50% of all money raised here in Vermont. So this is just.
so then they keep 50% to work with local families. Okay.
The money is used to help educate and provide research regarding suicide. So every dollar we raise is used towards preventing suicide.
Right. All right, so a motion is made and seconded. Any other discussion? Hearing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Motion carries. The next one is Pause for a Cause, Saturday, September 15th. The applicant is Savannah Williams, umbrella advocacy program. Anticipated attendance is 50 to 75 people. They did pay the 25 application fee, and
Savannah's actually here.
they're looking to waive $191 also. Savannah, if you-
Hello. So last year was our first event, and Cause for a Cause was created because I had met with a young student at North Country the June before, and they were doing a service project, and she wanted to do a correlation between animal abuse and domestic violence. So last year was our first time running it. We were kind of getting our feet wet, so to say. So this year we decided to host a second event to see what would happen. We got a lot of good feedback from last year, so we would like to put it in place. So it would be very similar. We're going to have the kickoff right at the bandstand. We use the crosswalks and we just walk along the bike path. So we just have a dog walk. Our owners have all of their pets on leashes. We make sure that doggy bags are provided so messes can be picked up. Last year we were able to have a face painter, so we're hoping to have that again. So it's just a nice family fun event. It wasn't supposed to coincide with the farmers market last year, but there was still a couple of vendors that were there for the farmers market, and it was actually pretty fantastic. So we're hoping to have that correlation with the farmers market and our event this year to work out, and hopefully it will draw in a couple of more faces and people that would be willing to participate.
The question I have is, what is the money used for that you raise?
So we use our money that will help. So in some situations, we have pets or families that have to flee from homes, and so we use that money to go towards either if their pets have to be sheltered, or if they have to find temporary homes, or unfortunately in some cases, some of those pets have to be surrendered. So we help fund that if need be, if they don't have the financial capabilities to do that. We also have in the past helped with pet food, kitty litter. We've helped a couple of times get their pets spayed or neutered. So it really depends on the circumstances and what's happening with the family that we're working with. I also brought some posters.
I also want to mention that Savannah and her crew over at Umbrella, this has really been an exemplary event that's going through this process. They've only been running this event for 1 year, but you can see the clear thought process behind developing their event, making it even better than last time. Their sponsorship reach also it goes far beyond the city too. You can see on the bottom line of their letter, which was very nicely written. I've asked permission to use this as a sample when I'm helping escort others through this event process. But you can see that they've already raised $1,000 in other areas, and that they are eager to list the city as a helping, supporting sponsor. So their attitude about this whole thing has really been great, and I think that they're a good role model for this process, and I just want to point that out.
I also wanted to just take a couple of minutes to introduce our new director this year, Amanda Cochran. She's the one who wrote our fantastic letter.
Hi, thank you. Didn't Savannah do a great job?
Yes.
For either Savannah or Jessica, are you going to have volunteers parking also in the gazebo area?
So last year, a lot of us, we did park in the farmers market parking, but there was only a handful of us. And I think this year, if we do have more, we could park where Wendy's is, you know, that back row there. Yeah, we would be more than willing. Yeah, near the walk. Yeah, because I mean, we're going to be walking through there on the path anyway, so it wouldn't be any trouble.
And for advertising, you advertise in the paper, the radio, anything?
We haven't. We've just been really advertising by the posters that we pass out through the community and through Facebook. We haven't done any radio advertisement or newspaper advertisement.
But we plan to do some paid ads, probably starting in the middle of this month for Facebook, so that people can, really see the event that's going on. Seem to get a lot of traction that way. And we're also looking out for other sponsors in the community for this event, including dog-friendly places and local veterinarians and things like that. And so we're hoping that they help spread the word as well within their offices.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Then I would entertain a motion.
Oh, I would like to make a comment. Their request this year is less than it was last year. So that's good.
Yes. And anything else, then we would need a motion.
I will make a motion that we approve the request for a cause and support them for the 191.
Motion made, is there a second?
One second.
Discussion? The only discussion, once again, is make sure we track the line item. I know it may not seem like a lot, but it adds up. And if we're gonna have to eventually put this in the budget, the taxpayers, it's an expense to the taxpayers. And so that's the only reason why I want to track, is so that we can plan when it comes to budgeting.
These four come up to $1,500.
No, I know. It's taxpayers' money. And so, okay, anything else? Then all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Hope to see you here.
The next one, Mr. Shinet, I'm going to have you read the next one, because I'm a member of Rotary, and I don't want any perceived conflict or anything.
Okay.
So I'm going to have you take care of the next one.
This is a request by the Newport Rotary Club
Oh, I did see Bob.
for their Rotary Duck Regatta.
Bob can't read.
That's why you took me off being the
Pretty straightforward. This is, how many times have you had this over there?
I've only been a member for 4 years, and over 10 to 15 years, we've had it at that same facility.
This is also on a Saturday, I believe. No, Sunday. This is on Sunday. So there's not going to be any conflict with the farmer's market.
Yes.
So that's good. I see nothing else. I mean, everybody's pretty much familiar with the entire Duck Regatta, unless there's something that either Jessica or you, Bob, would want to add to it.
Well, I think.
I do want to, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd just like to say that the Rotary does 3 major fundraisers a year. This being the biggest one, we do the junior high basketball tournament for 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th graders, which we charge nothing for the teams or players, and we give out all sorts of things, we pay for the rest. And then we also we collaborate with Pace Ford the last few years, and we do a Drive for Your Community, so those are the 3 major fundraisers. All funds that we raise stay right here in the community. So we, for instance, this year alone, just for the city, we did $4,000 in trees, and we've already ordered another $4,000, which are coming in very, very soon to do the west side of the causeway. We donated $8,000 to the junior high last year for a makerspace, which is a place for kids to have an activity center to go, and they bought a really neat 3D machine that they all love. We've helped them form an Interact club so that they can hopefully become Rotarians down the road. This year we were very, very fortunate. They had a great, great crew of kids there, and I can see that they're going to be leaders down the road. But again, everything we do, this is our biggest fundraiser. Everything we do, we get back to the community.
Yeah, I also wanted to note that they did submit their $25. It just came in after this memo went out, so they have done that $25 deposit as well. So what their ask is actually $191. It's not the $216.
Does anyone on the council have any questions that they would like to ask? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the Rotary request.
And is there a second?
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? It's unanimous. Thanks, Mr. President. With one extension.
Well, I don't know my vote, but I just want to recuse from the
Right.
discussion, being a Rotarian.
Okay.
So I think you track the feet. I've had special projects, yes. Okay, the next is a request from Vermont's North Country Chamber. It's Newport Fall Festival, Saturday, September 29th. The applicant is Bruce James, president of the chamber. Anticipated attendance, 99. They paid a $25 fee. They request, the total cost was $934, and they're requesting to waive $909.
Yeah, and of course, this one's substantially higher because there's a parade included in it. So although it doesn't meet the threshold for the large event application, it is a special event because of the parade and the stuff that gets factored into that.
Jessica, I didn't hear you. You said it was higher because of what?
The parade, these guys are interested in having a parade in town, which requires quite a bit of extra staff members. So you can see on their invoice there, that's detailed out. That's why that looks different than the rest of them.
Did you like to? Oh, I was going to have Mr. James, if you wanted to.
Sure. Andre Bissonette and I are here representing the local Chamber of Commerce. And due to the community development meetings that were held earlier this last winter, we heard a lot that the two main things that Newport wanted was better economic development, more jobs, and more events and festivals. We believe that what is going to lead more jobs and more economic development are lifestyle amenities and to bring people into town. The more people that come into the city will mean more business for the city. It'll also provide an opportunity for people that are coming from away to get a favorable feeling for the city and hopefully move here, open a business, and create new jobs. So it's all a tiered program for economic development, but I think that going with events and festivals is the first way to accomplish this step. So one of the things that occurs in many cities and towns throughout New England is a fall festival. And we haven't had a fall festival here that has worked in maybe 5 years. And with the new renewed enthusiasm in the Chamber of Commerce and the new Board of Directors in the Chamber of Commerce, we feel that this is a good opportunity in partnership with the city to help downtown and to help the citizens of Newport in that regard. So we put this application in. It's pretty thorough, and I hope that it answers all your questions, and if it doesn't, I'd be happy to help answer.
Mr. James, for your medical emergency services plan, it just says alert the rescue squad. Are you going to have any on-site personnel at all that are going to be there to assist? Or?
Not any more than would be normal for a downtown situation. In other words, this isn't going to be Woodstock. This is going to be a small hometown event, and it should be a small hometown event. And that's what we plan. We simply want to get started with some events, some local events, bring some good feeling to the city and help get people acclimated that they want to move here and open a business. And more people downtown, the better the business will be.
So in other words, you won't have a tent or anything with staff and some medical personnel?
No, we don't envision that kind of a crowd.
Thank you.
The parade is scheduled at what time? 11 a.m.?
I don't know if it says 11 or noon, but one or the other. Yep.
What's the date?
It's the last Saturday in September, so I believe that's the 29th.
Yep.
Now, the Fall Foliage Festival. I've asked this of everybody. The Chamber is a membership organization. And I know the expenses you have with the building and so on and so forth. Do you provide, trying to word this, I lost my train of thought. Lost my train of thought, sorry.
Services?
Yeah, okay, you provide services, that's it, thank you, to the community, for your members. So I'm assuming for this event, you're also going to have sponsors.
We don't have any sponsors at this time, and I believe that, as you say, we have to watch out for the taxpayers, and the businesses in this city are taxpayers. The businesses in this city will be able to benefit from this, and I believe that that's the route that we want to take. You understand, Mr. Mayor, that our organization is 100% volunteer. These are people who have nothing to gain other than to create something good for the city of Newport, and we're willing to step forward and try to do that.
Well, I'm looking out for the taxpayers also, and I've talked with a lot of businesses on Main Street who say parades hurt them, they don't help them. They actually hinder them. I even heard that from a couple during the centennial. They agreed with the event and all that, but they said in reality, they might as well shut the door when there's a parade, as far as bringing business at that moment to their business. Hopefully people who might come to the parade will come back at a later date. Hopefully. That's, you know, I'm just, everything's adding up, and all the other groups that have come in, the only other one, well, I had to recuse, but it's Rotary, which is membership, but they give all the money directly back to the community. The Chamber, you're a membership organization. You have around probably 100 members. If my memory serves me correct, your minimum membership fee is 170, so it's like 17,000 going into the Chamber. What are all those funds used for? I know you have the upkeep of the building, electricity, heat. I'm just trying to, get some more information.
Sure.
I'm not saying I'm against, I'm not coming across as being opposed to this. I'm just trying to gather more information.
Sure. The statement that this hurts, that parades and festivals hurt businesses is wrong. We've been in touch with the businesses downtown. They like this. Will a parade inhibit their business for a half-hour parade? It won't. This is how you bring people into town. If you looked at the latest news report on Channel 3 for what happened on Church Street in Burlington, they're asking the city for more events and more festivals because it does bring people into town. And we have to take the first step. Who's going to benefit from this? The businesses in your city are the ones that are going to benefit from this, and that's what we want to help. We'd appreciate your partnership and support.
Mr. Schnapp.
The Chili Fest, isn't that going to be put on by mostly the businesses downtown anyway?
No, it's put on by the Chamber.
Okay, but the participants are going to be mostly businesses from downtown?
No,
Lagos and...
it's open to everybody and anybody. And
but they
my
will
wife
be
says she
taking
may
part.
even make a chili.
What's that? But they will be taking part, won't they?
They're invited to.
So obviously it would benefit them, I would expect.
It would. The people, you're right, Mr. President. People coming into town will benefit them. As far as who would participate in the contest, I really don't know. We can't really do much further until we get your permission to move forward.
All right.
Mr. Mayor, I think one of the reasons why this is a little bit heavier discussion is because this is a little bit of a heavier lift for the taxpayer. The other $191, that's a small amount for a large impact. Calling in staff from police department, public works, and the rec department on a Saturday, then you get into the overtime charges, which is, doesn't necessarily take away the merit from the parade, but it does mean that it's a little bit of a heavier lift. So something maybe to consider, maybe this is spurring that discussion, is figuring out, from the council's point of view, how many of these parades do we want to do per year? That might be something to consider in the future, just because it's hard to say, we can't have a parade every single weekend all summer long, because I want to be home with my family on the weekends too, so might just be something to consider, but so I'll put that out there.
Mr. Mayor, I'd be willing to make a motion if you so wish.
Well, I'd just like to comment sorry.
Yes.
I wholeheartedly agree with Mr. James that events benefit businesses and also our residents. Events make people feel like they're part of a community that's offering them something. Makes them feel like they have neighbors and people that care about them. And it's well documented, there's research showing that towns are healthier when they have events like this. And I hear you, Jess, about the extra cost on the weekends, but I feel that we owe it to our community to support events like this. And obviously, we're not having a parade every Saturday all summer because we're wrapping up summer.
I've been to a lot of the Chili Fest. Use a lot of spoons. And many of the businesses on Main Street do have their chili out. And most of them, there was music down by the State Building. For me, it was a good time every time I went. Not so good for the wife later.
Try my best, Jimmy.
I'm not even, I don't know how to follow. I guess I'll entertain a motion on that one.
Mr. Mayor, I would be willing to make a motion in favor of supporting the Newport Fall Festival. This is a new event, and I would say that we should support it, see how it goes, and take it from there.
So a motion been made, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded?
No, we looked at that's the amount of 909.
Okay.
The letter states 934.
Well, no, they took the 25.
Right.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion. My question is, so we basically, there again, Jess, you said we have to have people come in and pay them overtime, correct? Okay.
Well, not for the Parks and Rec department, so we're not using it, but public works.
The PD, the chief has to have extra people on.
Yes, and
Because you can't use regular officers, so he has to have extra people on for this.
I haven't seen any of the applications.
So I did speak to the chief of police and the public works and the fire chief about this briefly in advance. It didn't take the normal course of action that the large event application does because this event wasn't received within the 60 days. So we haven't had a department head meeting to formally discuss this. I did reach out to them, mention that these events were coming down the pike and would they support them if council asked us to, and he said that yes, we, you know, they're all, both Department of Public Works and police said that they would be yes.
I've been to the Chili Fest before. It's a great time. I'm confused. I don't remember a parade before. What is a parade going to be?
Sure. We're never going to see a parade like the Centennial Parade. So that bar is set and it's never going to be attained again. It's not $250,000 to make that. However, I think that many small communities like Newport can have a very homey parade with antique cars, with Miss Vermont, things like that means something to the local community. So as you've seen in the application, some strolling musicians. It's meant to be a fun day at the peak of fall foliage. And so many communities are having fall foliage festivals. I think we all can agree that Newport should have one too.
I also want to mention all that, so the chief is right. I did talk to Sergeant Bingham, it wasn't the chief, so he was right. He's not losing his marbles. It was Sergeant, now that I think about it.
For the record, I actually made me lose my mind.
All right, anything else on this? Then all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Once again, make sure we track it, because when it comes budget time, we're gonna have to make decisions on taxes in the budget.
Thank you very much for your support. We would encourage you to not only participate in making chili and winning the awards, but also come down and see the chili and fun with us. So let's make it a good fun day. Thank you, folks. Take care.
I also want to mention that the fall festival, that was one of the things that was on the rec department's scheduling events for many years until our program supervisor position got changed around. So we actually plan on participating if this event did pass. We hope to bring back our fall foliage photo contest, which was just a little piece, a little bit lower maintenance. So we plan on participating and of course making scarecrows on the scarecrow contest. So it should be good. I also want to make sure, Mr. Mayor, that the record reflects that if the council wishes that they are also not only approving the fees for for all 4 of these, but the large event requests or the special event request, which is a different thing than just the waived fees. So that's for the Out of Darkness Walk and the Newport Fall Festival.
The next item, public records request policy review and possible vote.
So this is stemming from a previous council who wanted a public records model in place, and the model that you have in front of you is from the Vermont League of Cities and Towns. Vermont League of Cities and Towns provides us with our passive insurance, so we adhere to that as much as possible, and that's all abiding by law. And the one thing that I put in there has to do with the fees charged after the first half hour. The people who will do the actual work after the first half hour are people whose pay scales are above $15 an hour. But I took 15 as a random number. I think that's a number that's used in other policies, so I'm trying to keep it uniform.
Questions from council members on this?
I just have 2 comments. Under definitions, and this is a small one, the word custodian should be capital C.
I bet there's more than one typo in here.
Well, I read the whole thing.
Yeah.
And the only other thing I found was toward the end, last page, where it says custodian for the Newport of Newport. We've been having that as custodian for the office of the Newport City Clerk's office.
Yeah. Where's that?
This page. It says custodian of Newport of Newport.
I can fix that. Fix that up.
I know, good. I thought I was going to make it to the very end without seeing anything else.
I'm sure.
And you're saying that I'm a pain in the butt.
No, I'm saying that it's very common for me to make typos.
It's very common for me to pain in the butt.
Okay, anything else on the policy? Yes.
I'm not opposed to the policy itself, but once again, the council has been presented with policies on the Friday before the Monday meeting with no warning. There are 2 very large policies in this packet that we're expected to review. How can we even offer any edits before the meeting? I'm adamant about getting advance notice on policies. And if the council doesn't even have time to review it, certainly the public doesn't. And we all deserve the opportunity to read things thoroughly, to make sure that there aren't typos and unanticipated consequences when we think through the application of the policy. So I request that we have at least 2 weeks' notice before a policy is presented, so we have time to comment and edit.
I guess my one question is, what does this do any better than following state regulations? Does this give us a benefit, or we're not just following state regulations?
It follows state regulations, it puts it in writing, and it gives you a right to charge fees after the first 30 minutes, which has never happened before. Other than that, it outlines what the state of Vermont law is. So there are no surprises. It's your prerogative what you decide to do with it. You can approve it, you can deny it, you can delay it. It doesn't matter to me. I'm presenting you with what you need to have to be responsible.
So for me, what you've just told me, the only difference is this presents a way to collect the fees.
It also outlines exactly what people can expect. There's a form included, and there are forms for approvals, denials, and partial approvals, so that the customer knows exactly what they're getting. Again, it's taken right off Vermont League of Cities and Towns. We pay them some dues to do this exact kind of work, so there's no hidden anything here.
And I asked, Jim, what do you do now when somebody comes in and requests a record?
We'll take a copy of this paper, we'll take a paper copy, and we charge them, if it's a deed or a mortgage, we charge $1 a page. The certified copy is $10. We charge for the copies.
Now, if you deny somebody,
If we research for them, then we charge them every hour. If it's not research, we just charge them for the copies.
and if you deny somebody their request, you give them
Deny
a
somebody-
form, or is there anything you do to say, no, we can't give it to
We
you?
fill all requests except for, we won't give out addresses or personal phone numbers or deductions, people related. Basically, everything
So
else.
will this
is
change your
public.
process? Will this change your process?
Only the fee for anything over half an hour if we're doing it. Like I said, if we're researching, we're charging.
You charge anybody bulk time too, so if I was to
We
go in and
also
do
charge-
research,
If they're in doing their own research, we charge bulk.
they charge bulk time.
A certain amount of time, right?
Yeah, first 15 minutes is free,
Yeah,
but it's $2 an hour.
which is set by the state too. Because
Everything-
most of your fees,
Everything we charge. is
everything you
separate.
charge is set by the state. They have to follow state as far as what they charge for fees.
Well, when I looked this over, my thought was, why can't we just set up a fee structure? Why do we need the policy if it's state law?
Well,
So,
that's,
so to me, it's a kind of trite, it's something that's done twice. And it's like, you know, when I used to work for the engineering firm, we used to have all these regulations that state and feds had. And then we recreate them into what we wanted them to be, but all we would do is copy them and put our letterhead on it. So I don't see the need for it. I can see the need for a fee structure, but I don't see the need for the policy.
well, I can tell you that the forms are coming in.
I guess I look at this slightly differently. I say, okay, if we have a policy, we just hand it right to somebody. Instead of saying, okay, by the way, just go research state statute, this is what it is. We can, you know, just say, okay, here's the policy, here's, you know, what's involved. That's, I guess, the way I was looking at it. It's something that we have written down, documented. It's the way I was looking at it.
Right off the website of the Vermont League of Cities and Towns, the reason for this is not only does it provide a fee structure, but it explains it as well. And the reason for this is consistency, so that everything is the same. If there are any questions on the fee structure, you can go through the policy and say, oh, there it is. Because if you're just presented with fees, it's like, well, okay, well, why is that more than this? Well, if you have it explained in the policy. I don't think the policy itself is more burdensome. It just explains why you're doing what you're doing.
It also outlines the timelines. So the requester has certain rights and the provider has certain rights. So it puts it right out there for everybody to see. So it actually gives us tools and parameters that both parties can work with. And it points out there that just because you get a records request, it does say that you need to provide it promptly, but it also gives you a window of opportunity if you need to research something or if you need to explain that it doesn't exist. So from my vantage point, it would definitely be a tool that comes in handy.
I've done a lot of research in different town clerk's offices around the state, and had there been something like this, I probably wouldn't have been surprised when they stopped me at the door and said, you owe X amount of dollars. Which is not a very good surprise to have.
Okay.
But it is a good tool.
Any anything else on this?
The only other thing with the forms, I don't mind giving them a form to fill out. It's not gonna change my procedure at all. I mean, my fees are gonna be what they're gonna be downstairs. I think it's more for the other offices in the building. I'm going to have them fill out a form, but we have a lot of requests come in by phone. You look this up for me. I'm not gonna, I'm not doing this till you get a form in here. I'm not gonna worry about that. I'm gonna do what they want to do.
All right. Does the council wish to wait until the next meeting on this?
I would like to look at it some more.
So then,
I haven't done a lot of research. I've gone to Derby, a few other places, and I've always expected to have to pay if I write copies and the work or any work that they would have to do for me. So you shouldn't be surprised when you walk into an office and they will be asking for money for doing something.
I don't have a problem with it.
Would this help?
I do have a list downstairs that lists every fee for everything.
I guess my bottom line is this going to help you?
It's gonna help more of the people in the outer offices. Jim's fees.
It's not gonna help,
Right.
it's not gonna change my procedure.
Right. Jim's is prescribed, whereas the others, when we get records requests, we have to follow procedures. That is a tool for us. And it was issued by Vermont League of Cities and Towns, and we pay them dues to do just this kind of work. So it helps, it protects, it explains.
I mean, if I get a question someday on the field, but at the end of the politics to get it.
Right.
I'm gonna add anything to mine.
so we want to wait till the next meeting on this? Wait till the next meeting? So let's have a formal motion to,
Sorry, I just have a question, because I just want some clarification. Are the policies, is that not, like, I guess what I'm questioning is, for example, if the city manager wants to put a policy in effect for the city, she needs council approval, and perhaps this is the wrong time to ask this question, but when I make a policy, I don't come to the council for approval. And I'm just curious, is it because we're charging the public? Is that why this, I know I had to come before you for the public records policy. But say I have a policy on being clean shaven or short haircut or whatever. It's a stupid example, but you get what I'm saying.
that's a department policy. This affects citywide and beyond city.
You approved the police department's policy probably a year and a half ago.
Right, but that was according to statute because I was charging someone, and I think, maybe this is the wrong venue to ask, and if it is, I apologize. I just want to make sure I'm not doing something wrong.
No, you set your department like, you can't grow a beard, you can't grow a
Right.
mustache. That's your policy.
Okay.
This affects not only any resident, but anybody outside the city who's requesting public records requests.
So that's the difference, okay, that's,
Yeah.
okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Would this policy also guide the municipal police department?
You have a policy that's already been approved by the council. I've got the date somewhere, I pulled it up as part of my research in this. And you are often hit with very unique circumstances that are separate and apart from the rest of us.
Yeah, that's kind of the second follow-up portion is what
Right.
happens when the council or the city manager approve a policy that's in opposition to a policy that I enforce. For example, I have a social media policy that says you are not allowed to post anything on your personal Twitter account, Facebook, whatever, while you're on duty. And that came from VLCT as well. So I'm just curious, further on down the line here. I guess
But the job of the council is to set policy for the city. That is part of the elected official's job, is to set policy, the budget, fee schedule, budget, taxes, whatever. And so when it comes to policies, as far as citywide policies, you can do your own department-wide, I believe, unless it conflicts with a citywide policy.
His records, his public records policy was approved by the council because it did have rates and needs.
Yes.
And again, the police often have special circumstances that the rest of us don't confront.
I'm sorry. I apologize. I understand the difference now. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
And I think what the chief was getting at also is, when you have two different policies, you always go with the stricter of the two.
I would always err on the side of my policy, but I'm not aware, and I do review every policy that I have to make sure that it's not in opposition. I suppose if there were one, I would bring it to council for what you guys think we should do.
Okay, so we would need a motion to table this policy, since you want to wait till the next meeting. Which will be,
I'll make that motion to table.
made motion made to table it. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, discussion? Then all those in favor say aye. Opposed, ayes have it, motion carries. Let's table to the next meeting.
And it's the exact same explanation for the social media policy. This was put on Vermont League of Cities and Towns. They insure us. I copied it verbatim from their model of social media. So, so the council, how do you want to proceed?
Mr. Mayor? I thought the council sets policy, which would indicate that we would also initiate a policy rather than have them handed to us by staff. I'm finding this confusing about our role. And this particular policy, though I did see it on the VLCT website, there was also some cautionary measures that went along before the model policy, including take some time to consider your motivations and their implications. What do you want to accomplish? Is social media the appropriate tool to accomplish your goals? What are the benefits? Who will be responsible? There's a lot of questions here, and this policy is, in my opinion, completely unnecessary. And even if you were to adopt it, there's still freedom of speech. And to not have the public have any time to review this policy, there is a sorry old tune.
Well, when it comes to the roles, the management of the city can also propose a policy. It's not just the council. Policies can come from the chief of police, can come from the fire chief, the city manager, come from the council members. Anyone can propose a policy. It's not just the council that proposes policies. We can have recommended policies, so it's both ways. Any council member can propose a policy or something, and just like the city manager's proposing this social media policy. So I just want to clarify that. As far as social media, this is something that the city manager recommends based upon from the Vermont League. Do other council members have questions on this?
I'm sure that's been vetted by the state. Vermont League of Cities and Towns is a group here, it's going to be vetted by the state. So I'm sure it's a pretty good policy.
But if they approve every precautionary, are we doing it just because it's there? You know, that's my question. We're just doing it because, God, I found something great on the internet and I want to use it. Or do we have a reason to use it? And I'm thinking that there is a reason, because they insure us, and somebody violates this policy, we have to do something. They will defend us. If we don't have a policy and don't follow it, maybe the insurance won't cover what happened. But I still think I have to have time to spend more time looking at this. I want to see, really, why are we doing it? Is there a real reason? Do we have a problem with our social media? You know, is there something we're trying to protect the community from? So if you can say, yes, we're protecting the community from this or that, and that would be my, you know.
So my job is to bring this stuff before you.
It is, and I agree.
And you guys are tasked with figuring out if it works for you. I will tell you that I thought the responsibilities to the organization were very heavy, to the point where I've unpublished both the Centennial Facebook page as well as the city's Facebook page. But I want that responsibility. And we have had situations where we've had employees post things and we've had to ask them politely not to after the fact. So there are situations that exist where you're put in a place where your Facebook page is now subject to the open meeting law. Would you have known that before this policy came before you? So it's certainly an education, and I think the council has a responsibility to review it. So that's why I put it in front of you.
Now, Chief, you have a policy in your department that they cannot be on Facebook. No, the PD has a Facebook page, correct?
Yes.
Who oversees that? Who oversees that?
I do.
You do. Okay, and now you have an internal for your department policy that you can't be on Facebook during your shift.
Correct. Where, see, the whole reason that this policy that she's talking about came down the line spawned from a police department case out of Washington State, where a police officer went online and basically, there were two different cases. One, posted some pictures of an investigation that he was doing. And the department came back and was like, absolutely not, you're fired. And then he sued the department and said, you know, I have a policy that says I can't do this. Now, common sense would tend to rule such a, but this guy got his job back because there wasn't a policy in place. So a lot of times the policy, at least from the police department side, the policies are implemented to reduce litigation farther on down the line. Whether you have that initial problem or not. I don't have a problem with my officers going on crime scenes and photographing stuff, putting it on Facebook, but I still implemented the policy anyway, because that was our insurer's suggestion. The second one that she's talking about, I'm sorry, the first policy that we were talking about, why is it necessary to have a fee schedule? I hate to tell you this, but if you don't have it written down and approved by the council, you can't charge what you're charging. It's against state statute. And that's why I had to come to you with my request to move forward. So all of these policies that are in line, at least from what I understand in our department meetings, came direct from VLCT, but they're to assist the city moving forward. I get that you want time to review them. That makes perfect sense to me. But I guess I would just caution that if there's not an immediate problem, do we need to fix something? Yeah, potentially you might, to save yourself a lot of headache later on down the line. I think you asked the second question, Mr. Mayor, which I'm not 100% sure I answered. Or did you only ask one?
Well, the one I asked was about posting during.
Oh, yes.
I mean, I'm assuming none of our employees are on Facebook during work time, or at least I hope not. Because I know in my past life where I worked, it was actually blocked, so you couldn't get on it.
Right, so for example, if
you know, and I know where I currently am, you can't get on it because of the firewall.
If the city manager attempts to discipline a union employee for being on their personal Facebook media page and there's no policy against it, there is no retaliation from the city because you don't have a policy for it.
This policy doesn't cover that.
No, I'm just using it as an example. Or any other policy I have. I shouldn't use that example, I apologize, but any policy. If you don't have a policy that says you cannot do this, then as far as the union's concerned, you can. And so, just food for thought that I've learned in ad nauseum trainings on police liability.
Okay.
So I just got confused and I went down the rabbit hole. So I don't think this policy says that they can't post while they're working. It talks about a general usage of social
I know, I probably got off track,
media,
but I just.
Yeah, so I mean, I read it really quickly, so, that's why I was going to ask what was the point of the policy, and Laura answered that from her perspective.
I probably went off on a tangent because I think that people should be on Facebook while they're working.
Yeah,
I would hate to have an officer posting, you know, during Facebook time, or the plow driver taking pictures and posting while he's driving.
But if you're on your lunch break, you can make personal phone calls and stuff, so I guess that's a department policy or something like that, but that's not what that's about.
No, I got sidetracked on that, just my mind thinking of all these
But that
different
would be,
things.
I presume that would be personnel policy saying, you know, while you're working on the job, you can do this, you can do that. When you're on your break,
Yeah.
go ahead, whatever.
So-
But you're talking about, this
No, that's two different things. My mind was just thinking ahead.
Okay.
My mind at times, I just started thinking of all the different scenarios. I got off this a little bit, but
This policy, in my opinion, points out where the liability is and where the protections are. And that if you're going to have an active use of social media and you're a municipality, you need to understand that you're subject to the open meeting law, that there's a lot of other criteria that I simply don't have capacity in my job to sustain. I think this is an important policy to bring to people's perspective because social media sites are so popular. And there's authorized social media and there's unauthorized social media. If the municipality is going to have a Facebook page or some other social media account, it needs to be authorized. And then you have to have some sort of social media manager. That's a lot to take on, and then you have to monitor what's posted. So in my daily activities, it's better for me to unpublish the 2 Facebook pages that we have. So I think it's educational. I think council members who have active Facebook pages, that I think there's a part in there that pertains to you as well. So you may just want to be aware of it. I don't care if you post this or not. That's your prerogative. But I have a responsibility to bring it forward to you. It's a new policy that was put up, I think, June 1st of this year. So I've done my job.
I mean, we could wait, same thing, table this for 2 weeks.
So I just wanted to point out that section 2, the purpose of this policy is to provide standards and procedures for the appropriate use of municipal social media platforms. I'm not a municipal employee. My Facebook page is not an official representation of the city council. I make that very clear. And I certainly know that all social media is public record. But I understand your point about the time it takes to moderate. And if that's the issue, then I would love to address that issue and figure out how to designate appropriate people who can fit that into their jobs.
Okay. We would need a motion to table this for a couple of weeks. That gives everyone a chance to review it again and go through it. There's no motion yet. Wait till the motion, please.
I'll make a motion to table the social media policy for the next meeting.
Motion has been made. Is there a second? Made and seconded. Now discussion from council members first.
The question I have is, one part of the policy is to designate a limited public forum and then a government speech forum. And you listed the two, one being the Newport, Vermont, as the government speech. The other one as the limited public forum. My question is, on the limited public forum, somebody has to be diligent and monitor that, not just once every few days, but on a regular basis and consistently. And that will take some time out of the day, probably an hour or two. Who's going to advocate that?
That's why I don't publish it.
Okay. So we had a motion and second. Do you have something?
Is this going to be made available, or are the public going to be encouraged to participate in it? As far as I know, most of you are not big social media users. There are some of you who are more proficient with it than others, but I know that a lot of people who don't use much social media get a little scared of it. And yes, it can get screwed up, but it doesn't have to. And where the advantage of the pages that you have either as individuals or as a city is that somebody like me comes in, trolls those pages, harvests from it and posts it on other city pages. I run something with a co-administrator called Newport, Vermont Rocks. Its function is to post what is happening in this city. It very rarely gets into trouble, it very rarely causes trouble, but it's useful. Your pages are useful because of that. So, but I understand this sort of hesitation. But some of you post regularly. The rec department has a fabulous Facebook page. Somebody there is posting a lot. It's good stuff. It's worth sharing. There are a lot of people in this town who know a lot about social media, not just Facebook, but Snapchat and all the ones that the younger people are using. Us geriatrics tend to stick with Facebook. And there are some, of course, who are tweeting, but others who are not. It would be really useful to have some input. If that's something that you would consider. Because when this came, I only saw this today. That's not my, it's a lot of reading. It didn't give much chance to look at it. But social media, whether you like it or not, is here to stay. It has its place.
Anything else? Then, all those in favor of tabling this to the next meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. It's tabled to the next meeting. The next item will be new business. Mr. Johnson? Mr. Charbonneau? Mr. Rivera? New business? It's new old business, but for those, I had mentioned at the last meeting about the Thai restaurant and the issues they were having. Well, they were granted their A2 visa August 1st. But it's going to take them, they have to wait 10 days before they can get their passports to return after that. But that's a regulation, but they were able to get their visa. So I know I got a personal email thanking the city, the residents for all the well wishes and support. They're looking forward to returning as soon as they can to reopen the restaurant. So that was good news. Other than that, I have nothing else. Mr. Schmidt? Mr. Ross? Any new business? Old business, Mr. Johnson?
I got one thing. Brought to my attention today, of course, the council set coin drop policies a month ago. Came to my attention today that the Legion got mixed up on their date. They thought it, the American Legion, they thought it was the 11th. Me included. It's on my calendar, so did Fernanda. But Becky checked today and she's got it down for the 18th. But they can't do it on the 18th. They've got a wedding over there and all their personnel have been assigned for this Saturday. So they'd like to change the date to the 11th instead of the 18th. That counts for raise.
This was the Legion? The Legion?
Yeah, American Legion.
American Legion.
7 to whatever. What time it was. We got to mix up in the understanding of the dates.
So we're moving it by.
Yeah, you're moving ahead.
I have no issue with that. You want to shall we make a formal motion?
Yeah, I'd like.
So you want to make a motion?
Sure. I'll move that we go ahead and allow the American Legion to move their coin drop date from the 18th to the 11th.
The motion been made, is there a second?
Second.
Made and seconded, discussion? Then all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it, motion carries. Any other old business?
We get primary next Tuesday.
Mr. Charbonneau, is this your old business?
Yes, I do have, I was wondering about the status of a designated downtown staff person. I think our new fiscal year has started and we've allotted quite a number of dollars to support that full-time position. And last I heard, there was supposed to be somebody in place by August, and now we're in August.
So the funds have not been distributed? so they're still in our account, and I don't think they're planning to distribute them until they're needed, so you don't have to worry about it again. I think they're gonna have to re-advertise that position, so we have to wait and see what's gonna happen. Got our hopes up, and it didn't quite work out the way we had. So expect another round of,
So they're not spending the money.
Correct.
So maybe we should consider, I don't know, taking back 1/12 per month.
Well, let's cross that bridge, let's cross that path or bridge when we get there. We'll wait and see. Any other old business?
No, that's it, thank you.
I don't have anything,
Nothing's good.
anything, any old business?
did you want to announce the downtown designation?
Oh, I put that one out. That's Northern Waters. I may not have printed that one out long.
Okay. Basically, the downtown.
Yeah, I'll let you do it.
Okay, the downtown designation for the city of Newport has been renewed. And the reports have been accepted, we've met all the criteria. So now it's an 8-year time span, which we're delighted about, and there's a 4-year check-in. So the agency may ask us to check in sooner than that, which is fine with us, but we're delighted to announce that the downtown designation is in place.
And the last visit by Karen to get down was just like an update?
Yes.
That was just to give an update, because they had 3 questions, right?
Yes,
And then,
yes, they had conditions, and Karen presented to them on the 23rd. They were very pleased with the progress and pleased with the presentation. So they have approved it. So we're happy. I think that's a good move.
and under old business, actually, the Northern Waters,
That I distributed to council members and put on the website this morning. So once the announcement came out about the civil suit settlement, it seemed that wise that the city would take a step back, sort of a 20,000-foot view on where we're going with our planning. And given that we have access to green space through the end of September, and we'll likely have that access next year, it made sense to pull back on the boardwalk being a priority at this time. And we had a conversation with Ted Brady, who's the Assistant Secretary, and Tate Brooks from the Governor's Office to help us draw that conclusion. I think it's a good move. I'm expecting the VHB waterfront master plan, I'm hoping this week or next week. And once we get that, of course, that will drive the capital investment plan, which hopefully will take place for approval before we move towards our budget process, which will happen in the fall. So there's continuity and method to the madness. So there's some things I don't know yet, but there's some things I think that we can be excited about.
no, I just wanted to mention it, so
Yeah.
that when, if there's any announcement why we weren't part of it.
Right,
That's why I
because
wanted
it
to
withdrew.
do it withdrew.
Yeah.
Because at the press conference, the governor put basically everything on the table.
That's pretty powerful.
Yeah.
That's a pretty powerful nugget for the city to chew for a while, so it's gonna be a time delay. I mean, as far as I know, the court still hasn't accepted the settlement.
Right.
So that could take some time, and then, of course, liquidating properties could take some time.
But-
So there's,
But the green space is working out perfectly. I mean, Wednesdays on the waterfront has had successful events, and they've had a vendor set up there, and it's worked out, the way it was supposed to be for them to be able to, and so it's worked out well, that lease.
I think it has, and we haven't gotten any other interest in it. So I'm not expecting much. I know there's a couple of weddings on the pavilion, but we don't have anything to do with that.
Right.
So this is the first year, it's a trial run, we'll see what happens next year.
said it was good to be able to negotiate that and do it. And then the downtown NCR, well, whatever the new name is, the downtown group, they paid the lease fee for this year.
So that's good.
Yes.
And then under old business, the other thing under old business is the EDA grant for the water tower. We're still researching that, but I've learned the latest is that we'll require water meters in order for us to apply. So I'm trying to figure out, we haven't gotten a word yet as to whether or not water meters could be included in the grant application. So if it is, I think we can inch that forward. If it's not, then I think the council will want to discuss whether or not it's time to make water meters mandatory. So I hope to know, hopefully by the next meeting, how to proceed with it.
Okay.
There was a kind of a thing that, you may have said it, and I apologize if you did, Mr. Mayor, but is this NCIC grant still possible in the future if you postpone it?
Oh,
the Northern Borders?
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry, did I?
No, I didn't say it would be available in the future, but it will be. The only difference is next year, instead of being opened only to the northern counties of Vermont, it's open statewide, and that's the big difference.
Yeah,
So
not
we're competing with
NCIC.
Chittenden County, competing with Rutland County. Originally, this whole Northern Borders was basically the northern counties, but they've opened it up to being required to open it up to the entire state next year. So that means there's a bigger pool of people applying for the funding, and that's the one drawback. That's why we were urged by the governor to apply for the boardwalk, but then everything changed with that press conference.
This is just a matter of curiosity. Are all the states opened up entirely, or is it just one?
I don't know. I knew of Vermont, and that's why I've been focused on that.
So when you say all the states, are you
Well, I was
asking
just
about
wondering whether
Maine?
New York State, the people up on the border are going to be competing with
Or
Manhattan.
Maine and New Hampshire, I don't know.
I bet you can go on their website.
Yeah, it's
It's a
not
good
important
question.
enough for me to do that, but if you knew it.
I knew it was coming down the pipeline several months ago. Another board I sit on, that was a big topic of discussion.
Oh, Mr. Mayor, you mentioned the press conference with the governor. I was disappointed not to be invited to that.
I think that TJ Donovan called you.
The day up.
Yeah, that's not my thing, that's
That was,
TJ.
yes, he was in charge of it.
Okay.
That was beyond the city. The Attorney General was in charge of it. And I know the timing,
We didn't get notice during, I mean, it was pretty short notice for us, so I don't know about the other members of the press, but
yeah, it was very short notice. And then, I guess that's okay. All right. Any old business, anybody else? Then we will need an executive session. This is the motion for the first one. Yes?
So, I move to find premature general public knowledge of the subjects of the executive session including place the city at a substantial disadvantage by disclosing its negotiation strategy. And also, I also move that we enter into executive session to discuss the pending litigation on the advice of counsel under the provision of 1 VSA 313, paragraph A.
So a motion's been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Made and seconded. Discussion from council members? Yes.
Yes, can you just tell us what the civil litigation is about or with whom?
That would compromise.
are you expecting to have a decision
What do
or
you
any
think?
action, I should say, but
I don't think you'll have any action tonight.
I'm not sure if we'll have action tonight or not.
may I ask about the future? You're going to come out and then you're going to go back in for another one? I think on labor discussion?
Right, there won't be any action on
On
that.
that one either, I know it's out of turn, but I wanted to ask.
Yeah, no, there won't be any action on the labor negotiations either.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have a motion seconded, and all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it, motion carried.